Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and you are watching TTV News with some latest events in the province. And now we come into details. Ladies and gentlemen, in the morning of March 7, the Women's Union of the province had a meeting to celebrate the 110th anniversary of International Women's Day on March 8. Attending the event, there were Mr. Nguyễn Thành Ngọc, Deputy Secretary of the Ronshaw Party Committee, Chairman of the Ronshaw People Committee, Mr. Võ Đức Trong, Standing Vice Chairman of Ronshaw People Committee.
The chairwoman of Provincial Women's Union, Phan Thị Thùy Vân, revealed the tradition of 112 years of International Women's Day on March the 8th and the 1982nd anniversary of Transistor Uprising, and informed the result that the women's unions at all levels have achieved in recent years in training, fostering and taking care of women and girls, especially women in the border areas, contributing to improving their lives, helping the women rise out of poverty, and build a prosperous and happy family. And Mr. Võ Đức Trong said that in the coming time, the Provincial Party Committee and the People's Committee will continue to pay attention to and create favorable conditions for the women. The province women's movement is increasingly progressive and developed with the desire to have more and more talented female leaders. Exemplary women in all fields so that the tenant women become more dynamic and modern. He expressed the hopes that the women's union at all levels will continue to promote creation of solidarity, active learning, active motivation in work, labor and production. Pay attention to renewing forms of propaganda and education of good traditional ideas of localities, how to organize movement programs and activities to go deeper into grassroots so that the women of all classes can easily assess perception and transition from perception to action. On this occasion, Phong Hợp Company Limited in Bình Dương Province donated one loving homes worth for 55 million Vietnam dong to disadvantaged households in Tân Bình Commune, Tân Bình District. The Provincial Women's Union also launched the new website interface of the association with the domain name of http://TayNinhTV.vn and launched the next messages to support the program accompanied by the women by composing under BC syntax to the number of 1406. And ladies and gentlemen, in March the 6th, the fair to introduce and promote OCOP products and specialities of Hoa Thanh Thao Province in 2022 was opened. The fair was organized by the Department of Industry and Trade in collaboration with the People's Committee of Hoa Thanh Thao, the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development of the Province. Mr. Nguyễn Thành Đời, Deputy Director of the Department of Industry and Trade, emphasized that the activity is aimed to support local businesses to exchange and cooperate, promote brands and introduce products, create favorable conditions for the people and visitors to access OCOP products, typical specialities of the province, specifically when TayNinh is trying to restore production and businesses in the new normal. There are two groups of industry participating in the fair and exhibition, especially the products of speciality, OCOP, typical rural industrial products, and typical products group of TayNinh Province. Hoa Thanh Thao has 3 enterprises exhibiting and introducing OCP products and 9 typical products. The province also has 9 enterprises achieving OCP products with 18 typical products of the province and potential OCOP products. The fair takes place from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily from March the 6th to March the 8th of 2022, with a program to sell and promote products of the enterprises. And every night there is a special musical dance program also.
According to the Ministry of Finance, it is forecasted that the number of factors will put pressure on the price level in March and the remaining months of 2022, such as rise of many raw material and strategic material are still under price pressure from the upward rise in the poor and the demand for investment and domestic consumption.
Therefore, the Ministry of Finance will continue to actively and closely coordinate with ministry branches and localities to drastically implement the measures on price management and administration and stabilize the market prices, especially for essential consumer goods and services, to prevent an imbalance between the supply and demand of goods, strictly handle cases of abusing policies, taking advantage of holidays and debt holiday to increase prices unreasonably. At the same time, without increasing in the prices of goods and services determined by the state, the adjustment of goods according to the roadmap must be carefully assessed the impacts on the CPI on the second quarter to ensure room for the control and inflation control of the whole year. In particular, continue to accelerate the implementation of price inspection and promptly handle violations. At the same time, continue to promote information and communication of policies and measures to stabilize the prices, control inflation, stabilize the macroeconomy, ensure the social security, and contribute to creating consensus in the society to minimize the impact of the price increases due to the psychological factors, inflation expectations. Recently, Chala Khamun Youth Union in Yemenjau district officially launched the motto propaganda stone bench. This is considered one of the effective ways contributing to strengthening propaganda and welcoming the Ho Chi Minh Communist Youth Union countries at all levels to a large number of the people, especially the youth of all ages. To implement the model, Chala Khamun has mobilized the funds and ordered stone benches. With propaganda publication preclude on the backrest of the chair, these stone benches were then purchased by the youth union members and their families placed in their own homes. Each stone bench is sold for 500,000 Vietnam dong, in which 100,000 Vietnam dong for profit will be deducted by the society to raise the funds to support the young startups. And from now until the 12th National Youth Union Delegation Conference, over 200 stone chairs will be sold, and at the same time try to have at least 2 young people receive startup capital from this model. On the first day of launch, 30 propaganda stone benches were sold. Even more meaningful, these benches were also later donated by sponsors to the health station and school in the commune.
The restructuring of the industry in the period 2011-2020 has brought about many important results. Its 10 14 goals of restructuring the industry and trade sector have been completed. 14 groups of tasks have been implemented and have had positive results.
Of the 11 industry groups prioritized for development in the period of 2011 to 2020, up to now, 6 over 11 industries are leading industry in the country, making great contributions to the production, export, investment, employment include textile, footwear, processed foods, steel, chemicals, and plastics. In order to meet development needs in the coming time, the Ministry of Industry and Trade said that the industry restructuring project for the period of 2021 to 2030 needs to meet the goals of making the most of existing driving forces and creating new growth engine. New growth is associated with qualitative change, rapid and sustainable development based on science and technology, innovation, digital transformation, and high-quality human resources. Striving to 2030 to become a country with modern industry in the group of countries with high industrial competitiveness, group of 15 largest exporting countries in the world, and ranked second in the ASEAN in terms of retail market size and e-commerce. The industry and trade had the largest direct contribution to GDP with a proportion of 55 to 60%.
Ladies and gentlemen, female staff working as forest ranger directly participating in forest rotation are rare, and female leaders in forest protection units are even rare. In early March, TayNinhTV Forest Rotation Department has its first female director, Ms. TTVNEWS, a dedicated female ranger who has devoted many years of tireless dedication to forest protection.
4 years ago, Ms. TTVNEWS was appointed as Director of Management Board of Dầu Tiếng Protected Forest. She is the first female officer in the land to hold this position. And taking on the task, Ms. TTVNEWS immediately started to build and strengthen the forest protection force, actively proposed and found many solutions to improve the lives of forest protection officials, and at the same time mobilized households living next to the forest to participate and cooperate in forest protection. The case of violation of forest protection regulation in Dầu Tiếng Protection Forest have also rapidly decreased. The advantage is being supported and encouraged by the agencies, localities, and superiors. When I introduced myself as the female director above, everyone was surprised. The advantage is that when a woman works, the forest rangers are paid a lot of attention. And the deforestation has also decreased. I am a female campaigner, perhaps more flexible. Miss Ng often directly participates in patrolling forests at night, ambushes and catches lockers with no less aggressiveness than men. The job of a ranger directly involved in forest protection is quite difficult and harsh even for men, and even more difficult for a woman. However, Miss Ng is not afraid of work hard. She still thinks that women working in forest protection have many advantages. A woman have the patience and softness and easy to persuade others, especially the loggers, and even in quite stressful situations, when facing loggers, she calmly handle it with her firm but soft demeanor. During her work, she always completed the task very well and showing bravery, responsibility, and courage not inferior to men. And over the past time, the management board of Yau Protection Forest has worked closely with forest plants in household to ensure forest protection, and the people who contract afforestation are more and more attached to the forest, preventing deforestation on the plantation land. And with Miss Ng in any position, she will regularly participate directly to grasp the situation to have the best forest protection plan, and for her, the forest is also her second sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today TTV News. Thank you for joining with us and see you next time.